Welcome to Your Anime Senpais.
I'm Richard.
And I'm John.
Today we're going to be talking about Tensura Episode 5.
And Land Saga Episode 5.
Full spoilers ahead.
Alright, so everyone out there, today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to actually review some episodes instead of just explain them to you.
Right, yeah.
So we're actually going to break them down, give you the good, the bad, tell you what we thought about them, give them a little thumbs up, thumbs down for the episode so far as it pertains to the whole series. And let's start with Tensura Episode 5, Richard.
Okay, well, first I'm going to start with the negatives. And by negatives, plural, I actually mean just one thing. Basically, I didn't care much for Minister Bester. I read the manga, and he didn't really seem that obvious there. But in the anime, it seems very obvious that he's kind of a cliche villain type. He even got the twirling mustache, was just like, eh. And I was just like, man, I'm not really feeling this at all, you know? It was that cliche. Like, I don't really typically mind that, but it was just so forced and obvious, I was just kind of turned off by that. So yeah, the story tried to make you sympathize with him a little bit by showing his backstory, showing him as a kid, watching the king come by, and he was thinking to himself, yeah, one of these days I'm going to be up there, I'm going to help the king out, be a good citizen. But to me, it really doesn't matter because we already know what he turns out to become. You know, he's a noble, and yeah, he does help out the king, but it's also kind of deceitful, as we've seen with Kaijin. And I didn't really, speaking of Kaijin the blacksmith, I didn't really, wasn't really buying his hatred for Kaijin. Like, okay, I get it. He's a nobleman. Kaijin's, you know, of common birth. And, okay, that's kind of cliche, though. It's like, oh, well, I shouldn't have to take orders from him. It's like, okay, I guess. But the flashback that they show us, though, with him, Kaijin giving orders, we see Bester, he's just back in the back, just kind of chilling, just like, okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I think it would have been better if there was like a conflict there, if they would have shown us a conflict from the past where maybe Kaijin gave an order and Bester was just like, no, that's a terrible idea. We should do this instead. And maybe some of the other officers would just be like, dude, no, Kaijin knows what he's doing. You know, you should listen to him. Mm-hmm. Then I could be like, oh, okay, well, this makes sense. But from what they did show us, I was just like, meh, okay, I guess, whatever. And then going to the king. So the king knew of Bester, like the fact that Bester was the one that failed with the experiment from way back when. Mm-hmm. He knew that Bester was putting on this sham of a trial for, you know, to put blame on Kaijin, you know, he even like made himself look out to be more injured than he actually was.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, and the king knew all of this, but yet he just kind of sat back and just let it happen, you know. I get it. He was trying to wait for Bester to come around, but look what it cost him. It, you know, the experiment from years ago, I'm sure that cost the kingdom a little bit of money. Yeah. And time and research, and he lost not just one, but two of his best people in Kaijin, and we find out a minute later that, you know, he was pretty much done with Bester. So he's lost two people because of that, two really good workers and soldiers because of that, and three, he's potentially lost relations with this slime that gave him this really awesome healing potion. So he's lost quite a bit of stuff all for this one guy, and it's just like, was it really worth it? You know? That being said, Bester does get what's coming to him in the end. Like I just mentioned, the king was basically just like, I'm done with you. You know, I don't want to look at you ever again, kind of thing. So, and I kind of want to believe that maybe Bester realized why the king did that to him. That, you know, Bester was basically just being a jerk.
Yeah.
You know? So, hopefully he's learned his lesson. You know?
I mean, it was a pretty big shock to me that the king knew about it and
right.
just let it go.
Yeah, yeah. And So, again, like I said, hopefully, knock on wood, maybe Besser's learned his lesson. Despite being a cliche villain. And even though Besser did technically win in the end, Rimuru still got what he needed in having some dwarves come back, and Kaijin no less, and his brothers. So Rimuru still got what he needed from this.
Mm-hmm.
And despite what I've said about the king thus far, obviously this is a really awesome king. The people love him, as we've seen, including Kaijin. And he's got one of the best militaries, if not the best military in this world, because they haven't been defeated in 100 or 1,000 years or something like that.
Yeah, something.
So, and to be able to have that kind of military, he has to be very intelligent. The king has to be very intelligent, very tactful. And we see that in the fact that he's already figured out Bester and all his shenanigans. And on top of that, he's kind of made this connection between Rimuru and Veldora, at least a comparison. Maybe not a complete connection, but a comparison at the very least. Mm-hmm. And he's also got freaking elvish ninjas. I want elvish ninjas,
Christmas is coming.
It's true. That's true. That's what I want for Christmas. That being all said, though, the highlight for me, oddly enough, was the end credits, because they changed it up a little this time around. So before we had Rimuru kind of bouncing around, and then we get scenes about what happened in the episode. This time we see characters that we've already seen in the outro or the intro, but in the outro we see them again. So very much alluding that maybe we might be seeing some of these guys pretty soon. So overall, good episode. I enjoyed it. I've been enjoying all these episodes, honestly, so far.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, for sure.
Great series so far.
Indeed. But that's what I got for Tensura. So, John, tell us about Land Saga.
All right.
What we got for this week?
Let's review Land Saga. So, okay. I'm just basically going to come off and say this was an awesome episode.
All right.
Show started off really good in the beginning. The first couple episodes just kept getting better and better. It's going to have trouble topping itself. It's really just kind of heading that way. So, anyway... let's just kind of start with, we're going to do the bad and the good. So let's start with the negative.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And so, the good. So let's kind of just break it down from the beginning to the end and start off with the fact that it's a good thing that the girls are still broke, I think.
Okay.
So it's character motivation for them because they're desperate, they're hungry, they got to make the money to be these pop idol stars. So their manager's out there, he's working, trying to get them jobs, and as luck would have it, he's got one. Okay. So they're going to do a commercial for a local chicken restaurant. That's that, and honestly, that's actually just another good point of this episode. So, doing this commercial, we find out, even though Tai-chan is not really awakened, she kind of stole the show many times throughout this episode. Okay. So, they're filming this commercial, and their main chicken mascot comes parading out there, and Tai-chan's hungry. She wants a huge, larger-than-life chicken. So throughout, most of it is just basically them trying to contain her from trying to eat the chicken mascot, which in the end, I think they even ended up filming parts of that attack to include in the commercial because of how much, you love their chicken. Right. So, that worked out really well for him. And then she even kind of, stole a show in the, later on, the GAT Olympics that they participated in. So, speaking of the GAT Olympics, that was another pretty high point. They had these different sporting events where everything was surrounded by mud. So they started off with riding bikes. So they're riding their bike down this little wooden plank, and basically, if you get to the other side, you win. But the plank's covered in mud. Right. Everything else is covered in mud. I think probably the bike's most likely maybe covered in mud. I don't know, but your chances of making it across are just horrible. Mm. So all the girls fail. Every single one of them end up covered in mud.
Just flopping over.
Yeah, flopping over. face planting into the mud. It was just a great time. So then the second part of the GAT Olympics was a rope swinging contest, which, you try to swing the far as you can. A lot of girls did horrible. Some of them did pretty good. Tai-chan stole the show again. She was out there just messing around. Started, figuring out how to, get momentum going, and she took off, into the sun, literally almost, because she was so high and far that the judges couldn't see the fact that she had swung so hard that her whole body just busted apart. Arms and legs, her head popped off, and the girls are back in the stadium watching, and they just freak out, which was so funny, because then they take off in this mad dash down through the mud, just crawling everything as fast as they can, trying to get to her before the audience and judges can see what actually happened. And they snap her all back together, and she jumps up while the rest of them are just exhausted from trying to do all this.
Right.
And Tai-chan's just like, hey, I win.
Yeah.
So, that was really awesome. And she ended up winning first place overall in all this events. So, another plus. And it kind of ended on a really good note, because we're kind of, I enjoy the series for the humor, but throughout this episode, at different points, in the background, they have these guys with binoculars kind of checking out different ones, maybe one in particular of the zombie girls, and they'll make little comments like, she seems really familiar, and things like that. And so possible backstory, possible just
foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. We're probably gonna get a little more into character development with this. So something that this show's not really been to yet, but hey, bring it on. Yeah. It's been good so far. Yeah. So definitely that's my review for this show, and I give it a huge double thumbs up. If you haven't watched it, what are you doing here?
Right.
But if you have watched it, I'd recommend go back and watch it again, because it was great the second time I watched it. But yeah, so that's our review for these 2 episodes, and we thank you guys for watching.
See you later.
So yeah, that's possibly the best anime I've ever seen.
The best.
Yeah, the best. You need to check it out.
Okay, you know what? I'll check it out right this second.
Okay,
right now,
let's go watch it then.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go watch it, guys.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, hey. If you like this video, go down there and hit the like button.
And you know what? While you're there, there's a subscribe button and a notification button, so whenever we post a video, you guys will be notified.
Yeah, and even further below, that's our comment section. So go down there, share your thoughts on this video, and let us know what you thought about it, and give us some feedback.
Yeah, but please just keep the spoilers to a minimum, please.
Yeah, and thank you guys for watching.
We'll see you next time.